Alright, now recording. I could potentially edit any part of this out of the video, or I could not do that. Or I could just save the audio file and never actually post it. All of those three options would be pretty cool of me to do. Are here now. Podcast. Probably not gonna do this. In fact, probably just gonna sleep. Like normal people
Alright then.
usually. After we finish this, we're probably all gonna hate it and then never do it again. Or maybe we will. Who knows?
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, it's basically just a two-person podcast, but there are 4 people in the VC.
Right.
Maybe more people will join. Yeah, maybe more people will join as we go. There are only like 8 people in the server. Though then again, it would really not want an 8-person podcast, if I'm being honest.
How come?
I mean, if everyone's got like that same vibe, then it doesn't really matter how many people you have. But like, I think 3 is probably the golden amount. Maybe 4. But like 2 people in a podcast, that's just kind of lame.
Right.
But there are 4 people who could all potentially talk, but none of them are going to, or not. 2 of them aren't going to.
Right.
But yeah, we have yours truly, Crew,
Mm-hmm.
AK, who is the only
What's up?
person who's going to be talking.
Yeah.
Molona, who might say the occasional word if she can get away with it without her mom slapping her. And
Hello.
there we go. And then JMV, who
Luna?
does not talk, but
Who?
we will respect that decision. We will respect that decision, and if anyone respects JMV, you can unsubscribe. Now then. Yeah, by the way, if you don't like JMV, just unsubscribe right now, because he's going to be in every video. We'll say that. Will I add anything in editing? No. I have, like, no time to edit stuff. Why would I edit? That's lame. Anyway, yeah, podcast topics. If someone randomly joins the VC, we're just gonna hope they aren't loud. So that would kind of suck.
Right.
Discord is putting me in streamer mode. Thanks. Because I am not live, but technically, this is live, I guess. Words are confusing. You know, maybe that'll be our first podcast topic: the English language.
Okay.
It's weird. Yeah, it's actually. I've heard that from a lot of people in the foreign language classes that English is actually a lot more complicated than it seems. Like, obviously, it's not complicated to us because it's our first language, but to a foreigner learning English is pretty fucking hard.
Wow, really?
Yeah,
Strange.
because like
I'm honestly surprised.
mainly because like we have like it sounds like normal to us, but we have like 10 different ways to say like the same thing. Like so, like if I say yeah no, then you know that means no, right? If I go like yeah
Right.
no, but, like to a foreigner, they're thinking they have no idea what that means. They don't know the lingo. They're just like bro, what they're getting mixed singles. They're confused. So, it's that type of thing, or like how we have like 3 forms of theirs. That'd probably get someone. Or the concept of sarcasm that we use like in everyday life. To someone who's just like starting to learn English, sarcasm will probably be like the death of them.
Yeah.
Because like maybe they've heard of the term sarcasm, but like they have no idea what that word means. They don't speak English. They don't speak English well yet. And honestly, gotta hand it to Google there. English, very weird language. If you're a foreigner and like you're learning English, honestly, just don't. That's the advice. If anyone listening to this is a foreign speaker and maybe they're trying to learn English, so they're wanting to listen to something English, just stop learning English. Just use Google Translate. When are you not gonna have a phone on you? It is 2020. If you don't have a phone on you at all times, just what are you doing? Like, what else are you gonna do during
Exactly.
quarantine? Um, I will say though, for as confusing as it is to an outsider, I think probably Spanish maybe would be the next hardest. Because I've heard Spanish. It isn't that bad, but it's mainly because they have. I think if you're an English speaker natively, Spanish is probably going to be really difficult, just because like all of their things sound different. Like a double L is pronounced like Y. Like what's an example? Oh yeah, also they roll their R's. Like if there's a double R, you just roll your R's, and if you don't know how to roll your R's, you're gonna sound like an idiot to a Spanish speaker.
Right.
I know that probably sounds dumb, but if you don't roll your R's, like it wasn't until one of my friends in his Spanish 2 class told me that if you're not rolling your R's, you just sound like an idiot. You sound or like it's extremely clear that you don't know how to speak Spanish, or like it's very clear that you're still like learning to someone who's speaking Spanish or who has been their entire life. It's very clear that you are either a beginner at speaking it or you're just not very good at speaking it.
Got it.
So if you ever go to Spain or Cuba or any of the countries that use Spanish as their official language, uh, don't sound like an idiot. Remember the squiggly line N thing? That's pronounced Enya. That there's a Y in there somewhere. Why? Don't know. Uh, double L's. That's a Y for some reason. Can't tell you why.
Yeah.
What else is weird in Spanish? They don't. Z is more like Z or like se.
Like Zeta. I think that's how you say Z in Spanish.
Yeah, Zeta or something weird like that.
And why is Y?
Yeah, it's just
What?
like bruh, where'd you get that from? Like
Exactly.
some of them I can understand, like a S, which is like I believe it's like Essa or like Essa or something like that. Which is like I can understand that, and then like C is like se. Like I can understand that. I can get behind that. But like
Yeah.
Egriaga or whatever the heck it was, Igriaga or whatever.
Yeah, like what the hell is going on over
I
there?
don't. I'm not the one taking Spanish.
Yeah, I took that for 4 years. I
Oh
want it.
fuck.
Pain in the fucking ass.
I can imagine. I mean, I feel like it's like that for any language, unless you like your family has just been like speaking that language, and then so you picked it up, but then you also live in America, so you also picked up English. Like bits of both. Or unless you're just really you're actually interested in that country's culture, so you really want to learn the language. If it's not one of those two things, I'd say like 90% of the time a foreign language class is going to be a pain in the ass.
Got it.
I'm
I
guessing
think I learned that
you
the
learned
hard way.
Spanish for your yeah. Doesn't high school require that you take foreign language at least 2 years?
Yeah, if you're going to a university.
Oh yeah.
So I had to do it for 2 years, and after once I hit Spanish one, it was a pain, but once I hit Spanish two, shit hit the fan.
Mm. I think the let's see, because I think I had Spanish one in middle school.
Yeah, I
Remember,
took that in I took that in seventh grade.
yeah, probably 7th grade Spanish 1. And
Mm.
maybe 8th grade Spanish 2? I don't remember.
I know I took Spanish 1 in 7th grade and ninth grade.
I'm gonna have to mark this podcast not for kids.
Yeah, maybe.
No, because I just thought about one of the stories. I think I told you already, but like for the YouTube content. Because you reminded me when you said ninth grade. Yeah, my freshman year, I had biology. That was like term 3, I think, and then it was the biology teacher. I think she was like, I mean, at this point in time, she's probably like mid 40s probably. Like
Okay.
when I had her, she was like, she said she was like 38. At the end of the term.
Hmm.
Then how do I word this without it sounding weird? I mean, actually, there is no way. I'm just saying it up front. Um,
Okay.
I'm, I'm gonna be honest. Like 60% of the boys in that class probably jacked off to her at least once, or at least twice. I'm gonna be honest. Something about hormonal teenage boys just tells them they see a woman that looks slightly not old and has like slightly attractive assets. They're over the moon.
Wow.
It's another topic we discussed before. The mind of a teenage boy is one that is just not. It's not a good. It's not a pleasant place. I remember dying at that. I literally had to like. I had to like cover my face with like a hoodie to like not keep myself from like bursting out laughing. Cause like even like cause it like while I was in that ninth grade class, like I was completely aware that I was completely aware of that. Cause like obviously me, also because of just because of how puberty works, also technically being a hormonal teenage boy, it's just that I didn't care like at all. But I was
All
completely
right.
aware of how some dudes thought. I was like it what and it's like it's pretty obvious. I'd say it's like the girl thing where like to a guy you to a guy you have no idea what's going on, but to another girl it's like clear as day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's exactly what happened. I knew exactly how they were thinking. So uh I remember I remember I still remember the face of that guy. What at the end of the term is basically she did like a Q&A type thing. She did like a Q&A type thing to like get to get to know her or whatever on like day of the final after we were all done. And someone asked how old she was. She said 38. I swear I remember that kid's eyes going like wide, and he like bro. My friend was telling me after class. He's like, bro, I thought she was like 24, bro.
MILF moment.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh yeah, that was also probably what added to it. That might have added to it. She said, uh, she wasn't married. That might have added an extra layer onto it.
Yeah, I think that would.
And she said she wasn't married. She wasn't dating anyone at the time. If she is now, why would I know? But so that probably added to it. Besides, yeah, she said wasn't seeing anyone, wasn't married, looked pretty young, had some assets. Like, what did you expect? It's a teenage boy. But yeah, high school, it sucks, is what I'm trying to say. That's the main point. I think that's the main point
And
of
I,
this podcast here. High school just sucks.
yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I did not enjoy high school for the most part,
I think high school is
especially
just like,
10th grade.
yeah, I'd say high school is probably the somehow the most interesting, funny, boring, and sad part of your life at the same time.
Yep. God. Oh God. And 10th grade especially was the fucking worst. It was just my lowest moment.
I mean, like, think about like all the people who are like in their 30s bored with their jobs or whatever, but like they have to keep doing it because obviously they need money and stuff. They'd
Right.
probably say their best moments were in high school, just because of where they are now, and they realize what they left behind by joining the workforce or whatever. And then you have the famous movie stars who were like, oh yeah, I found my passion for acting in high school, or something like that, or something along those lines. I can guarantee you, without a doubt, there are absolutely people who will say high school was probably the most depressing part of their life.
Oh yeah.
And as for boring, I mean, it is school after all.
Right.
But I will say, back on that ninth grade year, the most interesting part about it, which might surprise you, since is probably my Art 1 class. Something about that teacher with like the graying hair somehow. I mean, I still sucked at art, and I still was not motivated to draw in the slightest, or even do anything like remotely artistic. I did not care about that at all. But the way he you could tell he was passionate about art, and honestly, in my opinion, especially after going through about like 11 years of high school, or not 11 years of high school, 11 years of normal school. If you have a teacher that's passionate about if you have a teacher that's passionate about the subject they're teaching, that's probably the best teacher you're ever going to get.
Wow.
And you have to remember, the best teacher isn't the one that lets you slack off in class. Now, might be your favorite, but he's not the best.
Right.
I think
Yeah, I had a history teacher in 9th grade, and you could tell he was passionate about his job. Like he could really teach.
like honestly, that makes it like easier to that makes it easier to enjoy, in my opinion. Like
Hmm.
man, I'm gonna use this example every single time. Like my eighth grade math teacher, the big old Jamaican dude. But like you could tell that he really enjoyed what he did, and he was making the best of it, and that was probably the best math class I've ever had. If I'm being perfectly honest.
Huh. Wow.
He was such a good teacher. He was such a nice teacher, dude.
Wow.
Nice dude. I mean, I've been telling you this, but like, every Jamaican, they got that hint of like, they always have some random talent that it's just unfathomable to you, but they have it. Some
Yeah.
random thing. The last day of school, like on the final day, that we'd ever see him at that point, like obviously like in school, he sang us a song on his ukulele
Huh.
after we finished the final, and that was really nice. That was a vibe.
Oh wow.
And like, obviously, a lot of the other kids are like, good riddance, bro, because they just didn't like math. Like, you know how middle school and high schools work. Everyone's gonna say they hate a certain teacher. No one hated that. No one hated that teacher. Everyone loved that teacher. Everyone hated the subject probably, but everyone loved that teacher.
Yeah, it's probably a teacher that made the class feel that did
Like,
probably a teacher that made the class.
I'm not gonna lie. There's no way to make math feel fun. That's just that.
Right. I mean, unless you got a fetish for numbers or some shit.
How does that even work? How are you sexually attracted to numbers? How? How? Come on. This is just not it. Jeez. This is just.
Alright.
I will say though, in that class, I do remember one day. I think he was teaching us like Pythagorean theorem, which is this triangle thing.
Right.
And I remember he made a joke, like something along the lines of like a python being like triangular in shape, and he like worded it weird, like having like triangular shaped head or whatever. You know, trying to make like a math joke to help the students relate or something like that. And remember that was probably the funniest part in that entire class. Kid literally yelled "ha" a single time, like a single "ha." Immediately immediately fell backwards out of his chair, and then just sat there for like 10 seconds, just staring. Middle school, what I'm saying, middle school kids are just stupid.
Yeah.
And the best part, he was just completely he was just like completely okay with that.
Wow.
Yeah, what about experience with half-ass teachers? Those are fun. Like I remember also in my 7th grade year, there was basically there are like these teachers who are purely sub, like they can like sub for any class. It could be like the PE teacher, or whatever, subbing for like math or whatever. So basically, anyone could sub for like any class. Is what I'm getting at. And like there was just that one sub that you just, no matter what they did, they could not make anything fun. Wouldn't help that they also had no idea what the heck they were supposed to be teaching.
Right.
Like they'd have like the lesson plan or whatever, but they'd never actually know what they wouldn't know anything about the subject. On like the off chance that they did, they wouldn't do it well at all. Or like they'll try to like get on the student's good side, and then they'll just kind of not really teach anything.
I think I've had. Yeah, I remember having subs like that.
Honestly, being a sub teacher is kind of just free.
Yeah.
You just tell kids to do whatever. You don't really know what the teacher usually does, so you don't have to do what the teacher usually does because you can't be expected to do that if you don't know what's supposed to be happening. And as long as they give you a simple lesson plan, which is just like, oh, tell them to read this page, or maybe read this page, like that's just free. Like you're basically not doing anything, and you're getting money
Right.
for
That does sound like an awesome life.
it. You just
Well,
get
if
to
you
tell
like
kids what
kids,
to
of
do.
course. Yeah.
Now, although I'm saying like that wouldn't be the best teacher, I'd absolutely just do that, bro.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe if this accounting I'm doing in college now fails, I'll look in. being a.
I mean, hey, college is only gonna fail if you're the one who fails.
Right. I mean, I'm not doing half bad in it now. I have a B, so I think I have a chance.
I feel like that's above average, honestly, which is kind of
Oh
scary.
wow. Really?
You know,
For a class like that?
I mean, what class are you talking about?
I mean, I'm in like intro to financial accounting since it's my first year.
Oh, that I mean, obviously I don't know anything about the course, so I couldn't judge how hard it would be to achieve a certain grade. That's an interesting topic.
Yeah.
Basically, my train of thought here was, okay, that's a college level class, so would I be able to? Because I was judging it off of would I be able to take it and like pass pretty easily, and that just reminded me of the thought, they're teaching like 5-year-olds they're teaching 5-year-olds pre-calculus, and they're understanding it. I think anything's possible at this point.
And where would that be happening? Freaking China?
They just, that's how they build their supercomputers. They just teach 5-year-olds calculus. But no, yeah, I remember they were like, I don't remember what it was exactly, but basically they just taught kids like stuff like calculus and they just taught kids like pre-calc and chemistry and stuff like that, and then they'd literally be like helping out they'd literally be helping out like high schoolers. I think the theory is because like they're like better at it than the high schoolers because like that's all they've been taught. They don't have to worry about like any like previous things they've been taught or any rules they have to apply to it because like they haven't been taught that yet, so they don't have the. It's like Splatoon, let's say, for an example that we can both understand.
Yeah.
Like let's say you play Jet Squelcher, E-Liter 4K Scope, and Kensa Splatter Shot, bro. Right? Those are your 3 weapons.
Right. All right.
Um, you have to like you are like constantly switching between like Jet Squelcher and E-Liter 4K Scope and like Kensa Spider Shot, and you have to think about which one would be best in each situation or each game mode. Whereas this, maybe a bit less experienced player picks up they just pick up either 4K scope randomly because that's like the only weapon they ever use. So they're going to be a lot better than E-Liter 4K scope than you are, even though they've been doing it for a lot less time. Just because that's the only thing they do. That's the only thing they know how
Yeah.
to do. Whereas
Yeah, that makes sense.
Whereas you've learned how to do like these many different things, so you haven't like maybe put that much time into it, or you're thinking about using other weapons, and it's just not the right solution.
Yeah, that's how I wish my university classes were structured like that. Like all my classes would be accounting related or have skills that I would actually need to go into the career. Because right now I'd say maybe
For your career,
only one other class of mine that isn't accounting has stuff in it that I'll be learning that I'll actually have to use. The rest, especially not freaking calculus, like dude. This isn't high school, college math we're learning here. There is math, but it's definitely not the hard part.
Yeah, what was it called? Do you have an idea of what your career is going to be in, at least what you want it to be in?
Mhm.
Or like, do you have an idea of what you're gonna do? I remember that was one of my freshman classes. I think this was the entire class was literally just planning out your future. And it kind of sucked, honestly. I didn't really care.
Shit, for a while I just couldn't decide at all. Like I,
That's understandable.
like I only finally settled on accounting this year, like right before I graduated.
And like, why is that? Because I mean, who knows? Maybe I'm just clueless, but it doesn't seem like accounting is like the most fun thing in the world.
It's not really that glamorous. I am completely out of ideas on what else I'd go into.
I mean, do you have any like interests or stuff? Like anything that maybe anything that you're like is a skill or an asset that you have that might be like useful? Anything you could potentially turn into like a business of your own?
Well, yeah, I mean, you can make a career out of gaming, but I am just not the kind of. But
Yeah, I mean, like you could
yeah, celeb luck.
again,
Ah,
like I
bad.
said, the only way you could really do that is either if one, you become good enough at a game to play at a professional level and win enough at that professional level to actually like be able to sustain yourself, which is, but also how Twitch works at least is at least you'd probably be doing it on Twitch. I think YouTube can also work, but YouTube's a bit whack. I mean, like if you're just trying to make money, YouTube's definitely the way to go. But I think though if you were to, I think the probably how it works is you become good at game, you start streaming the game a lot. That's your main game. You start grinding. People eventually find the game. They see you grinding it, and then they watch, and then they're like, "Wow, this guy's pretty good." And then eventually, you get good enough to become pro. You obviously go pro, and then whenever you play at a big tournament with like thousands of people watching, you're like, "Oh wow, new guy," and "Wow, new guy's
Huh.
pretty good." And then they find your Twitch channel, and bam, now you have a Twitch career. And off of that Twitch career, you then make a YouTube channel, which is maybe just like highlights from your Twitch, and that makes a lot of money. Assuming the only thing I'd worry about for that is the playing the same game. Like obviously, if you're like a professional at one game, and like obviously that's going to be your main game. Like that's just a duh. But one game over and over again does tend to get pretty boring, I'd say. Like think about like the Fortnite YouTubers. Like they've literally played like the same game every day with like little to no variation. And like for a while it has been working just because people like the game, but a lot of I feel like they're starting to lose popularity just because like Fortnite it's definitely it's nowhere close to dead. But like it's starting to die out. Like they're trying to keep it alive, but and like it's working so far, but it can only last for so long. And then you have to think about like after like let's say you become really good at CS:GO and you play it a lot. And actually, this is a bad analogy because CS:GO already basically already fell off. Um, you're not really gonna. If the game you main falls off, you fall off. Is what I'm saying. So like if Splatoon, for example, is the game you decide to become really good at. If Splatoon dies out, you die out, and now you kind of have to form a channel or another start with like kind of around nothing, which is not easy to do at all. it is kind of like an advantage or heads up because you do have like some sort of audience or fan base already. But assuming it, if they were just there for that one game, they're not going to care if you start playing other games. You're. It's very unlikely that you're going to have people who aren't just there because they like who you are or your personality. I'd say it's pretty difficult to get like people's games dying off and then them having to make their old channels with like a lot less subscribers. That definitely happens, but it's never zero. So there's a chance what I'm saying. Or you could just randomly blow up. Who knows? What I'm saying is basically just get good.
Oh, I wish I could do that in like any freaking game I play.
I mean, I think first before like obviously like if you're just playing to get good, like you probably will improve, but like it's not gonna be very fun for you if you're literally just playing just because you want to get to that like professional level or whatever. Take it like how I like Rocket League for example for me. Like you've seen, or at least I'd like to think that you've seen, I'm pretty decent at it. I mean, you did see the Twitter clip. Uh, you haven't played Rocket League, so you probably don't really know what that is or what that signifies, but that's a pretty advanced mechanic. Uh, it looks easy when I do it because, like, obviously that's just how videos work. It looks easy until you try it for yourself. But like I read the ball off the wall, got a touch on it again, which is easy enough for me. But like for a new player starting out, that looks like almost impossible. And then after that touch, I then readjusted my card to get myself like perfectly under the ball, which is even more difficult for like just like a new beginning player. And then I used that to flip again, which to someone who's like my rank or higher, that's like it's still like somewhat impressive, but it's not like the most difficult thing in the world. And, I'm aware of that, and I don't. My point is that I'm above average, but there's also like I also like just really like this game. So if I wanted to potentially get good enough to go pro, I probably would. Just because like I'm not in a position right now to do that, but like I definitely consider it whenever I get like an actual gaming PC. Because now that the game is free, especially it'll make it a lot easier. Speaking of which, game's free, so get it.
Oh, Rocket League?
Yeah, it's free now. It doesn't cost $20 anymore, so get it.
Oh yeah, I
Hey Rocket
will.
League, hey Rocket League, hey Rocket League, hashtag ad. Um, I mean, yeah, I guess this technically will be going on YouTube, so whatever. But I'm gonna edit that out just because I got a bit off topic there. Um, yeah. Anyway, back to like your career thing. It really just like if you have anything that you're good at, maybe you're just really I don't know. Maybe you're good at running. Maybe you're fast now. Then you train, and then you can become like a track spinner or whatever. Or But I will say that is very physically straining, and I mean, as we do just kind of sit in a room and play video games for hours, you don't exactly have the best physical health. Um,
Right.
so maybe not do that. I mean, like it's just I think for the the end goal for a career should always be to just end up doing what you like, even if that means maybe doing something less enjoyable for a few years or a lot of years. If you get enough money to do something you enjoy, I think that's probably the dream job. If you enjoy accounting, I don't think I can't imagine that you would be like, yeah, I have the best job in the world with your accountant. Um, but I mean, hey, that's just me. Maybe you're good with money. Maybe that's why you're doing it. I don't know. I don't know your motives. Oh yeah, just looked over at Discord. I did. It would seem as though JMV is in the call. JMV, if you want to drop a message in chat to add to this conversation. Actually, JMV might be asleep. I don't know. It's hard to tell.
Maybe fell. Right.
JMV usually has some wise words. However, if he's asleep, we'll just let him sleep. And that'll be that. Not that we'd have any way of knowing, but still. Honestly, I'm thinking we go into a random server and ask people if they want to join the podcast. That'd be funny. That'd be a funny YouTube bit. We just have to do it in a way that doesn't get us banned.
Right.
It was like, hey, we're doing a podcast. Do you want to hop in? And maybe we'll do it in that server's PC. However, I don't think I should be recording OBS on a public server where anyone can hop in and say anything. And then I kind of have to delete the whole video. That'd be not pog.
Right.
I wonder if... And... Let me see if anyone on my friends list is online right now.
Okay.
Oh, Ika's online. I don't know if Ika's gonna join them.
Right.
Let me see. Ika, join, Liz. Doing.
Wow. Time's kind of flying by pretty quick. Shit. I kind of got nothing. Huh. Yeah. Huh. Huh. Mine didn't, not really. Only maybe sometimes in the classrooms, but they're not just, but for the most part, they're just not there for anyone else to just, no, not really. Interesting. Yeah, right. Wow. Yeah, yeah, I'd agree. Well, I mean, well, I'm gonna spill some honesty. I am the kind of person to just grab Lunchables and microwave it. Like, it's Lunchables pizza, yeah. I'll pop it in the microwave. I'll eat that. You know, I've done it before. It's pretty rare, but okay, give me 1 second. What? Yeah. Ouch.